Joining me on the big interview this week is a real-life ghost hunter. He founded the Northern Ireland Paranormal Research Association, and he joins me now in the studio. Warren Coates, how are you, sir?
Not too bad at all, Robin. Keeping well. What about yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. So we'll start off by talking about how haunted is Northern Ireland?
Northern Ireland is extremely haunted. We started, as you say, the group we started in 1991, and we're still going strong. You know, and there's other groups over here now as well. So there is a lot of paranormal activity happening in Northern Ireland. And again, people always represent it as to do with the troubles and like that there, but leaving the troubles out of it, there's a lot goes to the history of sort of Belfast, history of Northern Ireland. There's an awful lot of stuff here.
So we'll talk about some haunted places in just a minute, but how did it all begin for you? Because you were interested in this from a very young age. In fact, you grew up in a haunted house, didn't you?
Grew up in a haunted house in Bangor. Unfortunately, I was the only person that actually never witnessed it at first. My mother, father, which were quite sort of good living, my brother, sister and all seen it, and I was the one that didn't. And I grew up trying to debunk the whole thing, thinking they're imagining it, you know, there's something going on here. At the age of 8, I was brought the Hamlin Book of Ghosts, because it's so much of an interest on it, and it just basically blossomed from there. You know, it just went on, and I had a couple of personal experiences which proved to myself. I went out, if there's a spirit here, if this place is reputed to be haunted, let's put it to the test. And basically got a slap in the face from there literally one night, and that proved it to me that there was something there.
Where was that? How did that all come about?
One of the first basic operation, I say, our first sort of full-fledged operation was up in a cemetery just outside Mawle. And I'll never forget it this day, as me and one of my friends was up, it was about 5 o'clock, 5:30 on a sort of summer's evening, and it was just, all I can describe it as is a column, like about five foot tall, just over 5 foot tall, of condensed mist, and it was just like swirling mist, and it just went up, and myself and my friend seen it, and where it was seen, later on we found out that there's a spirit of an old man is seen walking up the same location.
Wow.
And we've a couple of times we've been up and we've witnessed other things on the site, and that was one of the main things that sort of, I was there, okay, it was summer's evening, people have went, was it maybe midges? You know, it wasn't midges, it wasn't anything like that. This was a localised column of just energy, and it just looked like mist, like swirling mist just floating about, and it floated up for about 10 yards and then just disappeared. And wow, like that was me, I was just gobsmacked.
You mentioned Bangor, you mentioned Mawle, the kind of North Down Ards Peninsula area has a lot of activity, doesn't it? It
does. Again, very, very historic site. You know, I mean, if you go around there, and spend, I mean, to me, the Ards Peninsula, you know, you could spend a whole weekend going around some of the fantastic sites, be it fantastic Cooey Wells, the Holy Wells down outside Portaferry. Absolutely amazing. Go down there during the day, beautiful atmosphere, beautiful location. Go down there at night time when it's dark, complete different atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a lot of, if I can slaughter a lot of monks and all down on that site, you know, so there is a lot of negative energy down there as well. But the Ards Peninsula, it is like virtually everywhere you go in it, there has its stories. It's be it from a 1798 rebellion, be it, you know, later or not, a bit or whatever, there's a lot of stories.
Okay, tell us about the Northern Ireland Paranormal Research Association. You founded that in 1991. Why did you decide to do that?
Founded in 1991 because I had such a deep interest in it. When I started, there was no other groups going over here, there was no other groups at all. I basically hit my head against the wall for a lot of years. Put an ad in the local paper just to see if there was anybody else was interested or if there was any stories, and about 30, 40 phone calls, or not even phone calls, like letters. It was back in the day, long before the internet. Letters and all saying about, you know, I've this happening to me, people interested, looking to join the group. From there, just started the group going. It was me and a couple of friends first of all, just basically again testing the waters, you know, see if there was an interest. Two of the cases we got straight away, one of them was a very big case, and it was sort of baptism by fire, you know, because again there's no thermal imaging cameras around, there's none of the stuff you see around today. I don't really think you need that sort of stuff anyway. You know, we keep it basic still. We work with mediumship, so we'll go into a place and we'll always tell the people, and we did back then, we still do it. We would say, look, we don't want to know any information about it. You know, don't tell us any names, don't tell us what's going on. And then we'll go in and then we'll come back to the people a couple of hours later and go, right, A, B, C, D, you know, and give them it. And 99.99% of the time, they're spot on. You know, and I'd say it's, sometimes if you have all them equipment, it's the same as anything. It's the same as giving up smoking, so you're relying on something else, it's another crutch. It's the same as this here. If you're relying on all this equipment, you're really taking the whole stuff away from yourself. You know, you've got the natural ability already built into yourself to actually do it. But I say, when I started a group, there was nothing like that. It was just a trial and error. It was the old sort of wee tiny cassette tape recorders we use for EVP, electronic voice from anima, 35mm cameras, you know, and but saying that, we got some fantastic results back in the olden day as well.
Yeah. So I suppose when you start off, and I know you've helped a lot of people over the years, but I suppose when you were starting out, there was probably some negativity from some people.
But yeah, I mean, unfortunately there was a lot of negativity. Still is to this day, you know. But now we're lucky enough. We've worked with members of the clergy, we're priests, we've worked with ministers on this here, and you know, I think now because we have been going so long, again, our website, our Facebook page is very, very seldom we'll put our cases up on it. Although we're doing stuff in the background. Again, if you call us into your house, to us, it's between you and me.
Yes.
You know, or you and the group. You know, if you turn around to us and go, look, I'd like to go public with this, then by all means, we'll certainly go put something up on our site. But until that happens, it's a personal thing between yourselves and us, and that's the way we think the way it should be. But yeah, it just keeps going. You know, as I say, like, you know, every time we think it's slowing down, during the summertime it does take a lot. Everybody's out, you know, there's long days, people are away from their houses. It's once the days start getting shorter and the nights start getting longer, people are in their houses more and start experiencing it again. Yeah. And that's when the whole thing sort of kicks off again.
There's people out there who hear various words and phrases connected to what you do, but probably don't fully understand what things are. I mean, the first one, for example, people probably don't understand out there, what is a ghost, for example. How would you describe a ghost to somebody?
Again, a ghost, it's a term we always sort of shun away from, because the stereotypical word of a ghost, people seem to think like a white sheet with eyes cut out of it, spooking people or scaring people. The spirit energy, you know, again, there's different sort of schools of thought on it, but it can be somebody that's maybe died in their sleep, maybe killed in a car crash or something out there, and basically the person, that spirit was taken out the cat and don't know they're dead. You know, so they're wondering why there's strangers in their house, you know, they're wondering why they're trying to speak to people and people are ignoring them. And that's why doors open and close, that's why lights get switched on and off, that's why things happen. Again, people would phone us straight away, and after watching a film, after watching the series on TV, it's either one or two things. Either I've got a poltergeist in my house, or I've got a demon in my house. Yeah. And we would sort of explain, go around and say, and go, look, and this is all a complete free of service we do, and we would go around and say and explain, look, you know, there's nothing. The reason it's doing that was it doesn't have any energy and it doesn't have the physical means to actually appear in front of you and go, look, I'm here, help me. Yeah. You know, so what they'll do is move something or do something to draw your attention. But unfortunately, that freaks people out. You do have what's known as like stone brickwork theory, which is like in old abbeys, castles, churches, and all like that there, you know, where it can be, no matter what the equipment is you bring in, no matter how good the medium is you bring in, they won't register anything, because it's like it's absorbed in the brickwork and the fabric of the building. You know, be it the mortar or whatever it is, and it is just like somebody's recorded something on a videotape and then playing it back. So if you go in there, you're relaxed, the atmosphere is right, that thing's played like a cinema screen in front of you. Yeah. You know, but it is just a replay, and the thing will do this. The spirit will be seen doing the same thing, or a traumatic experience will be seen to be reenacted out at the same time. The same as the Battle of Culloden, I guess, here in Scotland, where the battles are reenacted. You know, it's just like a physical imprint in time.
We've heard a lot in folklore and stuff about banshees. Do they exist?
Banshees do exist. Again, people always have a laugh about this. You know, for people, again, sort of, they represent the banshee, because I'm actually dealing with people at the minute, because they're experiencing it. It's the same sort of line as a banshee, only slightly different. But what the banshee is, it's not a spirit as we would know it. It does represent it as from the fairy tradition. You know, so, and again, people go, oh, fairies. It's not the fairies you see in the kids' programs at the bottom of your garden. We would describe, if you hold an onion, you peel the different skins away of an onion, and even what you do with working with TV and radio, you know, you're sitting here, you've got the one station, you know, but there's thousands of other stations out there, but you're just tuned out of them, you know, so by tuning into a different station, you know, then you're tuning into it. And sometimes you get bleed over where you get bits and pieces happen. It's the same with us in the physical world. You know, everything coincides around where we are, so different sort of dimensions, everything, different spheres of existence are around us. One of the things that we were dealing with is huge black dogs, and the famous one in England is a big black dog called Black Shuck. Right. And it's got a big, massive black dog with red eyes. And we had people contact us, actually from Bangor, and they've witnessed this a few years ago. And it's funny, because over the past 2 years, we've had stories about this same location in Bangor. Some of the stories dating back 30, 40 years. You know, so it's something we're looking into. In fact, the name of one of the roads again, I don't really want to say words, but
yes,
the name of one of the roads has a big connection with what they're actually experiencing.
Right.
And this person was quite good living, and it took them a lot to actually contact us. And I think they thought, we were going to arrive out with sort of vacuum cleaners on our backs when I got there, and on a big white sort of ambulance. But it's just a lot of times, with sort of Banshees, and I got there, it is a lot of folklore, and the famous one we have people saying about, we hear this noise, it sounds as if somebody's screaming or sort of at night time. We were out, and you hear foxes, foxes bark, and they make a funny noise, and that's a lot. Unfortunately, a lot of time it is people live in the countryside to hear these things. A lot of the old days it was keeping the kids quiet at night. If the Banshee will get you, it's just putting that fear factor. But on the other hand, there is stuff that actually does happen.
Is it true that kids can be more perceptive to spirits and things? Yeah,
very much so. Kids and animals can be very, very susceptible. Kids to a certain age will be very attuned into it, and that's why children having imaginary friends, playing with imaginary friends, and I got there. I believe, that the kids shouldn't be sort of chastised against that, and sort of, there's nobody there, you shouldn't do that. Who are we to say that a child isn't playing with somebody? Be it a great grandfather, great grandmother, or some other member of the family. Everybody's got guardian angels or spirit guides, that are with them from a young age, and you find out that it is a member of your family, a very, very distant member of your family. So yeah, I mean, kids are up to a certain age, and then it seems to sort of click off. Now you actually can't get an app on the phone, and it'll actually play a tone. And children, I think it's under 8-year-old, I think it is now, they'll actually hear this tone. So we can't hear it. So if that recorder was put on the table, or a mobile phone was put on the table and played, everybody here, we wouldn't hear it, except the kid or a certain age, we sort of, what's that noise coming from?
Wow.
But to us, it's the same sort of thing, because it's the same as being able to see more of a spectrum of light. Children, I got their whole perception's a lot bigger, so they can experience a lot more of the field of vision of what we can. And then it seems to sort of cut off, and then at an older age, it seems to enhance itself again.
When we're talking about spirit world and stuff, a lot of people will obviously think Ouija boards as well, and that obviously freaks a lot of people out.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Ouija boards?
It's good reason to freak people out, and again, some psychiatrists and all will actually use Ouija boards to help sort of communicate with your subconscious mind, because your conscious mind's focusing on the planchette, and your subconscious mind's dealing with is bringing out what's bothering you, whatever. On the other hand, again, there is negative energies, and with using a Ouija board, you are sort of dealing with what we would say like the drag society and the spirit world. You're dealing with the low spirit. And the thing was, again, if you take a Ouija board into a house and you're trying to communicate your grandfather, you're trying to locate somebody in the house, you're speaking to him. That spirit that maybe is lurking around there, and maybe hasn't spoke to anybody in the physical realm for 20, 30 years. They're going to, if somebody all of a sudden is trying to communicate with them, it doesn't matter, they're going to pretend to be who they are.
Yes.
So that could be a nice spirit, it could be nothing, no problems at all. Now, I don't believe in demons as such, but a murderer, a rapist or something like that there, if that person dies, that spirit's not going to be a nice spirit overnight. So you could be working about a Ouija board, thinking you're speaking to great Uncle Bulgaria. Again, people always go, well, I destroy the paper, or I burn the board, and I break the glass. It doesn't matter, as I say, basically, unless you know what you're doing, it's things like that there you should be messing with.
Now, you were the first group as well to get into the Crumlin Road jail before it was all refurbished, so I mean, you must have encountered some pretty bad spirits there.
We did. I mean, as you said, we were lucky enough to get in, say, long before it opened as a tourist destination, and when we got in, it just basically the way it was closed, the keys were turned in the lock, and that was it. Crazy stuff. Some of the stuff that happened left us speechless. Whenever we were dealing with it, there was only our group in it. There was 2 members of security. One member of security had to stay in the gate. The other member would have occasionally come around with us. When you know you're the only person in that building, and you're getting like sets of keys thrown at you, you're getting things thrown at you from empty cells, it just, you do question everything, and we were lucky enough, we had access to everywhere, so we had, and fantastic place.
When I was with you, we went down into the hanging cell and everything, didn't we? And the padded cell room and everything. And you do feel...
Oh yeah, I mean, the energy's down there, and again, people would sometimes say, well, if a spirit was executed, or if a spirit was in the prison for a while, why does it want to go back there? But if spirits in their life, if they come out, and especially in the olden days, if that's all they knew, people that reoffended and went back in, that was their life. So obviously, whenever there are spirits there, they're attracted back to that same location again, because that's where they spend maybe 80% of their lives. you know, which is unfortunate, but it happens. But yeah, I mean, out of all the places we've done, some of the places, yeah, we're still doing at the minute, which are sort of just as good and just as haunted. But on the grand scale of things, I mean, there was nights we went down to Crumlin Road jail and we walked in, and we were there for 6-7 hours a night, and nothing at all happened. Yeah. And there's other nights where you walked in, you closed the door, and as soon as you got the door closed, you heard the whistle, or you heard the banging, you heard, you know, noises, and you see, we're not ones to jump to the conclusion of straight away it's a spirit, and then you find out there's an electrician doing work, something like that there, you know. But whenever we know that we're the only people in it, you know, and you're hearing the footsteps, you're seeing a black feather shadow person walking right up towards you and then disappearing, you do have to suspend your beliefs and go, well, this is paranormal.
Was there ever a time when you thought we could be in serious danger here than if the venues you've been to?
Again, with Crumlin Road jail, you weren't sure because you were dealing with murders. You know, you're dealing with, you know, okay, you can't get slapped, you can't get grabbed, you can't get pushed. But for them to actually, again, the way you see in films, to actually sort of, you know, tear your head off or make you spit green gook or something like that, it doesn't happen. So I would always believe you have a lot more to fear of the living than half of the dead. You know, they can make life uncomfortable for you. They can certainly show you things and sort of do things to you, which again will leave you a bit sort of speechless. But that's the grand scheme of things, you know. I mean, and the other thing is, you know, this whole thing about people saying, oh, well, I'm scared because if I go to this place, are they going to follow me home, or they're going to attach themselves to me? You know, again, there has been a couple of occasions where people think that's happened, and maybe it does happen. But you know, if the person is negative, if the person's very ill or very, you know, with a lot of sort of personal, sort of negative personal issues, you know, that like attracts like, you know, but the us people like that shouldn't even be going near at that sort of frame of mind, should be doing that sort of stuff, you know, because occasionally you have to be strong, and the spirit will use the element of fear that comes from us, you know. So when you get that whole fight or flight, you know, and you don't know if something does happen, and you're sort of, people are freaking out completely with it, you know, that's when the spirit will absorb that energy, and then they'll manifest that energy in something else. But you will get ones that will actually feed off that and basically try and do more damage than what they can.
I remember one of the first venues you told me about was Rich Hill Castle.
Yes.
It was very special to you in the beginning, wasn't it?
It still is, Robin, it still is, mate. You know, say unfortunately, you know, it's totally out of the sort of public domain now, so it is. You know, it's just basically the shell. They're doing a lot of work to basically the shell. Fantastic house, you know. Again, one of those places, one of the first unfortified houses built in Ulster. The history of it, totally amazing. The family that owned it, a little family. One of the nicest families you'll ever meet, you know, and we were lucky enough to meet the last sort of owner of the Richardson family that actually came over one time, that actually owned the house, that actually built it, you know, and that was very, very special. Beautiful house, and again, the energies in it. We had people down, we had Americans and all came over and went, and unfortunately, you do get the whole, you know, this is a very negative place, or this is a very, it wasn't, you know, it was the only place you walked into and you actually felt welcomed home. And you know, and a lot of people we took down said the same thing. As soon as they walked in, they just automatically felt as if they were walking into a special place. Yes, yeah.
Tell us about Carrickfergus Castle, because that must be
Carrickfergus Castle, yeah. Carrickfergus Castle's brilliant, fantastic place. To me, it's just a pity because I think they're still under this whole bit about, you know, it should be sort of, you know, there's a lot of history there which shouldn't be spoke about.
Yeah.
It's a
castle.
There's
a whole thing going on as who actually wants it.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to want Carrickfergus Castle.
I would take it tomorrow. If they want to give me it, I'll take it. I mean, well, that's it. You know, for the history it's been, sort of cannibalism and all has been carried out, you know, and as I say, unfortunately, I did start a lot of years ago, we'd done a thing on it, and as soon as I mentioned about that, it was, oh, we don't want the castle to be known about being haunted. And firstly, any other country, if you own the castle and you went, right, by the way, this is haunted, for every one person that doesn't want to come into it, there's going to be 50 people that want to come into it.
Yes,
you know, and I think that's what's wrong, not just with Carrickfergus Castle, but with Northern Ireland in general. You know, a lot of places now. Again, there's no way we're going to walk in. We've been asked, well, there's nothing haunted here, but would you just come out and pretend there's something, so we can bring people in, and we just won't do that. There are other groups that will do it, sorry, but we won't. You know, but if there is genuinely haunted, we would love to go in places and set up ghost walks and investigations. And like you've been with what we do, and what we do, we don't fill people full of sweet mice.
Exactly, yes.
You know, we'll tell them, right, this has happened. If something does happen, we'll go, well, it could be a logical explanation behind that.
Yeah.
You know,
and you can sit for hours or sit all night and nothing happens
at all.
Nothing
happens. That's it. You know, and to us, that's the way we like it, you know. I mean, you know, to see all these programs on TV and all for entertainment purposes, you know, only that you're going out, you know, and they're having all these things, and you like when they play an EVP, electronic voice phenomena, like if we do an EVP recording and we hear something on it, unless that's perfectly clear, we won't say about it.
Yeah.
You know, where some of the ones you'll get static breaking through, and people will say, "Oh, I hear it telling me to get out," and you're, I can't hear that.
Yeah,
you know, it's the same as looking at seeing faces in clouds. You'll see what you want to see, you'll hear what you want to see. You know, but what we like to do is go, well, look, you know, that could be. We had a person send us an EVP a couple of months ago, and it was their stomach rumbling. It definitely was their stomach. And I emailed them back. The language I got back was crazy. But I said, look, I'm sorry, but the us, you know, you hear you asking a question. And a couple of minutes before, his girlfriend or his wife had said to him, you know, do you want to get something to eat after us? And he says, yeah, I'm starving. And then you hear this number, because he heard this noise, and he had said about it sounds like a demon or something. I went, no.
What about somebody who brings you a photograph and there's maybe like a shadow or a blur bit in the back or a bright light or something? Well,
again, we try to be very, as professional as we can, give our sort of professional opinion on it. Again, if we weren't there, we don't know the history of the photograph, the history of the video clip, whatever it is. We actually won a few months ago, and the woman sent us a photograph, and it was just after a heavy rain shower, and she was out in her back garden, and her dog was out, and said about her dog being surrounded by spirits, by orbs, and it was just moisture in the air. But whenever I emailed her back, she was actually quite happy about that, because she was actually starting to panic. She showed her friend, and her friend was going, "Oh, that's spirits in your garden," you know, and it was freaking this wee lady out. You know, we went, look, it's not, it's moisture. And it's because after a heavy rain shower, there's still moisture in the air, and the way the digital camera's lens and all, the field of depth, whatever it is causing it, is just eliminating it. But yeah, I mean, we're very, very careful. Some of the photographs, you know, we don't want to end up with egg on our faces as well, you know, so we find out 6 months down the line the person staged a photograph, or, you know, whenever they took that photograph, the famous one at the minute, people are taking photographs inside a house, looking out, and they're getting reflections in the glass window, you know, and from flying discs to spirits, and you're looking at the photographs and you're going, are these people real? And some of the things goes up on Facebook, you know, I just have to sort of just don't comment on it. But yeah, it's trying to be professional, but as I say, with being professional, like, I'm not going to lie. You know, if I think it's fake, I'll tell them it's fake.
Yeah. So what exactly is an orb then?
Well, an orb, you can get what's known as a spirit light, which a spirit light is, you'll see it with your naked eye. You'll see, like, you'll walk into places, some of the locations we've been, again, Crumlin Road jail, where you'll see like a ball of light floating around. And that's just the pure energy. That maybe spirit hasn't got the energy to actually manifest itself into the full apparition. You know, so our minds can pick it up and perceive it for what it is. So what they'll do is, that's natural condensed energy. Whereas if you take a photograph, and like, even if you take a photograph in the most sanitised place, you'll get orbs on it. You know, I mean, you could brush a floor, vacuum, do everything to keep that place clean, and 5 minutes later, we're walking in, we're constantly sort of shredding skin, you know, so there's dust and all floating around. So when you photograph them, you know, and people always go, well, how does it glow like that? But it's just the way the digital photography works. You know, I'm not a scientist, I don't know much about it, but, you know, if you see an actual sort of spirit light, you'll know straight away what it is. You know, but I say, if you take photographs anywhere, you take a lot of photographs, you will end up with orbs on them.
Okay, Warren, just tell us about the case of the Phantom Hitchhiker. This was in Coal Island, wasn't it?
It was indeed. We had actually done that case a lot of years ago, probably now about maybe got to 20 years ago, and it was people had seen it, witnessed this woman. She just walked out, wee country road, the last thing you would expect, and people had seen this figure just walking out, and people never thought anything. They would have drove on, and then the figure would have disappeared. Again, the second time we were called out at it, and the last thing from my mind, you know, and we got a phone call by people witnessing this spirit, and what she was doing was one of two things. She would either walked out in front of the car, people slammed the brakes on, and car skidded, maybe went into the hedge, or else she would have walked out as if she was like in trouble. People would have pulled the car over and stopped the car, and she would have come over towards the passenger door and then disappeared. And I say, you're talking a country road with no lights on it, completely in the dark. So we went down, and then we drove up the road. So as we turned up the road, I went, we've been here before, and exact same place, same building and all. And some of the people that recorded hadn't even knew that we were out, because the first time we had been out, again, I was dealing with a couple of families, and it was very private. And we were there for about 5 or 6 weeks doing stuff, a couple of nights a week. Now the only thing was, you know, there's maybe 50, 60, 70 cars driving down that road trying to see this phantom hitchhiker. So it did turn into a bit of a sort of farce at the end, unfortunately. But some of the photographs we got, we were taking photographs. Like we were at the wee cottage, a bungalow the wee woman had lived in before, I think it was her brother. We knew she was at the door and we took a photograph, and it came out, it used to be called ectoplasm, and it was like a muslin material come out of the nose and the mouth of mediums. But that term is now sort of geared towards this, it's like a thick cigar smoke that appears in some photographs. And you're talking again, it was a summer's evening, it was about 12:30, 1:15 in the morning, and a couple of these photographs just had this long, stringy, like cigar smoke. But the thing was, it was right where we had seen this woman.
Right. Wow.
And the energies again in that place were, I think it just because it turned a bit sour is because, you know, there were so many accidents down the road.
Yeah.
You know, and then people were getting sort of parking outside other people's houses in the country road, and I got there that the locals just wanted the whole thing sort of done away with.
Yeah.
But we went down, we'd done a couple of wee things. We'll have a member of the clergy and actually went down and done a sort of bit of a blessing around the area, and then so far hasn't been anything else. We haven't heard of it. So near was in a couple of years' time maybe hear from it again. But it was a very interesting case. And again, the phantom hitchhiker is a world renowned thing. You know, it happens all over the world, the same thing.
Okay. Tell us about the Grand Opera House, because I saw or heard a programme you did at the Grand Opera House. Yeah. That's haunted as well, isn't it? It
is. We had a fantastic night, couple of nights in the Grand Opera House. So we had from apparitions coming out in the centre stage whenever we asked them to. You know, lights going on,
performing.
Oh,
wow.
yes, seriously. Well, we actually seen the figure coming out, and we said there was a few of us there that night, and we'd actually said it was the night we're done with Jerry Anderson and all, and Father Troy and all was with us, and we came out and that said about coming out and it's centre stage. I says, we know about the light, and all of a sudden there was a light just came on, appeared in the centre of the stage.
Wow.
And we know that a couple of girls that were there that night, we were the only people in that whole building, and with lights sitting on stage, it was just lights went on and off in sequence. Doors open and closed. Fantastic place.
Yeah. I know as well as you're heading out of Belfast along the Upper Malone Road, going through Dunmurray, and you come to that kind of Drumbo area, there's a church. A lot of people see a figure around that church area on the bridge, don't they?
Yes, is that James Haddock?
It is, yes.
James Haddock. James Haddock's a very, very historic. It actually was one of the only spirits that actually appeared in a court case and as evidence. And it was in Carrickfergus court that the judge actually called out and asked for the spirit of James Haddock to appear. So and I think it was his arm and something else appeared, and everybody in the thing witnessed it. It's historic. It's written down. It actually happened.
Wow.
But he's seen. I think it's Eden Dairy towpath or something. Him and his
that's around that area as well. Yes, yeah.
And the headstone, his headstone it used to be out in the graveyard. They've now got it in Drumbo Church, but it used to sit in the graveyard. And when they went down, every day they come in, it was laying down. And they put foundations in it, they put like things behind it to stop it falling over. Came in the next day and it was laying down. So now they've taken it inside.
Wow.
But no, we had a couple of fantastic experiences up there ourselves. So we had on the towpath, and again, it's one of those places you have to be careful, because again, I think the Wilderness Granny goes up there now.
Yeah,
you know,
yes,
so
yeah.
But for genuine people that's interested in the paranormal, it is a very, very interesting case to read about.
So if people out there are genuinely interested in the paranormal, can they still get in touch with your group to become part of what you do? Certainly.
I mean, at the minute we're always looking for sort of decent people, and even people to help us with, you know, if everything sort of happens that we're hoping to happen in the next couple of months. We're going to have about several new locations that we will be taking the public to, you know. So what we need is people, even people who want to join the group, people that can come up and help us, because then they can become part of the investigation with us and they're taking part. But certainly we're always happy to have people up. Sort of again, the only thing is we're not sort of, you know, it is, we will, if people start imagining things, we will sort of be very helpful to them and point them out the right way.
It's not like a Most Haunted TV show.
It's not a Most Haunted, definitely not. Definitely not.
And if people have concerns, maybe they have something that's happened in their house, in their workplace, or whatever, they can also get in touch with you to come and check them out as well, can't they?
Certainly. And again, it's personal, it's private, it won't go on Facebook, won't go up on sort of our website, and totally free service.
All right. Warren, give us the website if people want more information.
Yep. Now, we're actually getting it updated at the minute, but it's www.nipra.co.uk.
All right. Well, Warren, thank you for joining us on the big interview this week. Thank you.
Lovely seeing you again.
Thank you.